Yes, so this is Tom Meyer, the superintendent of the Bellevue Community School District. Just a few things to review from this last week and from our board meeting that was on Monday evening. A couple things, student activities going on. People always wondering what's happening. On this Thursday, we have a bowling meet at home, and that is against Durant. Also on Thursday, we have a varsity reserve basketball game here, and that is at 7 o'clock. And then on Friday, we have a bowling meet at DeWitt. Saturday, we have district wrestling. Mason Lyons is our Comet wrestler who has advanced on from districts last Saturday's sectionals. He moved on to districts, and if he placed in the top two at districts, he will move on to the state competition in Des Moines. And then also on Saturday evening, we are hosting the girls basketball regional versus Lisbon, and that will be here in the Bellevue High School gym at 7 o'clock. And then on Monday, our boys high school basketball team plays at Comanche at 8 o'clock that way. And then on Tuesday, one more competition. We have varsity sub-state bowling going on, and that is at Cascade at noon on that day. This weekend, we also have an archery tournament going on here at Bellevue Schools that will bring a lot of people in again. We have a great participation rate in that, along with our other sports in general as well. So just want to, and I've said this before, I really mean it, it's very important for kids to be involved, and for them to be involved, sometimes they need your encouragement and support. And one way of showing that, whether you have a student or not, is to come out and attend the events, no matter where it's at, whether it's at school, at the bowling alley, at the elementary gym, at different schools in the conference or in the area. Come out and support high school athletics and high school events in general, from music to archery to all those other things that are happening, speech. We have a lot of involvement and a lot of time and effort that people take in order to make those successful. That way, our students put a lot of time into that. So I encourage you to come out. Things that went on to board meetings are things I just want to update you in general about. The Comet curriculum presentation was on the community survey that many of you probably participated in online. I will be putting those results out to you in the very near future. Look for them, a link on the front page of the website and or on the superintendent's page on the website, so you'll see that stuff. One thing that came out was just continually increasing communication. People are saying we're increasing communication, but at the same time, they said they'd like more communication that way from teachers and others to the parents of students who are struggling and things like that. We're working on that. We took this input very, very seriously. I just want everyone to recognize that. So, and always feel free to contact if you have a question as well. Another thing, we talked about a technology survey that we had our students and teachers participate in. That showed a lot of good things. It showed that we are one of the leaders, or actually probably the leader in our AEA. That's our area education agency with about 20-some school districts in our area. Our use of technology is high, and our appropriate use of technology, using it for educational activities, is high. Having kids solve authentic problems. We were about 30 points above the state average on that. We're at over 50% on that on a daily basis, and that's very good, something to recognize. And that our students and teachers both believe that technology use is important for learning and enhances learning, and we're far above the state in that as well. So good thing there that way. Another thing, we talked about Comet School finance information. I always present a little segment at the board meetings. On Comet School Finance, our finances are looking fine right now. We are waiting to hear from the Iowa legislature on school funding for next year and what that will be. I know there is talk in the House of 1.25% increase and in the Senate of a 4.0% increase. Ultimately, for the students' benefit and to offer them things they need, the more support we can get, the better. Yet at the same time, I also recognize that education does get a good chunk of the money for education. So the school gives a lot of money for education that way, I guess what I'm saying, and we recognize that, but we also want to utilize that appropriately, and we feel we utilize it to the best of our ability at all times, but any assistance we can get is always necessary. But we will make the best education possible for students regardless of the funding that occurs that way. Another thing going on, and this is maybe higher in some people's list, is school calendar. If I knew what it was going to be, I would tell you. I do not know what it's going to be. Right now, the law says it's going to be August 31st unless there's a waiver filled out. We are not filling a waiver out. The waiver process is hard to justify. So right now we're planning on starting August 31st. Actually, September 1st is the first day, unless that, or you can start the week of September 1st, and the week of September 1st has a Monday, August 31st, and so that's when we will start right now. There has been some talk about a compromise of starting August 24th. That would be the Monday before that. That is also when college classes start, and that has been one of point of contention across the state of Iowa with students in high school enrolling in college courses that this will throw things off, or college courses that are offered at Bellevue High School won't have enough time to finish the semester. On and on. We can go into a lot of different things with that, and you can probably read that in the paper, or you can find some other opinions on that as well. But there are a lot of things going on that way. So the school calendar, I would anticipate in the next month something happening. I'm hoping in the next 2 or 3 days, but I think my hoping for the next 2 or 3 days are probably slim that is going to happen. I know they're working on it, and I think that's just one issue out there right now. Our finances are in good shape at this time overall in the district. We use our resources in the most appropriate way. We adjust our resources appropriately as well throughout the year, and are continually making adjustments. We'll be making some more adjustments for next year as we move forward to best meet the needs of the students. And something that happens so many times, and it came up in an article that the school board read, the top 10 characteristics of a 21st century classroom, and some of that collaboration is one thing, and also meeting individual needs of students. I use the example, somebody can tell me something once and I don't get it, I need to hear it 3-4 times, or someone can tell one person once and they got it, it's all they need. So there's a difference there of what's going on and what people need. So I think it's meeting those needs of students, and it's using some new, sometimes non-traditional classroom instructional methods. It's not that the traditional methods are not good sometimes, because some of those are very good, but there's better things out there as well in addition to them or in conjunction with them. So that's something to remember. I'm trying to think of what else here. It's really, when we talk about education, it's a student and teacher responsibility. If we want students motivated to learn and actively engaged in learning, part of that comes from the school. We need to give them something that is engaging to them. We need to allow them to recognize how this is relevant and real to their life and the lives of those around them. If we cannot do that, we will struggle. So that is a push that our teachers have to try to make this as engaging as possible, as relevant to them as possible, and as we go through. So, and also your support on that as well, and your feedback on that. I don't see why we're doing this. I don't understand this. Why is this relevant? Well, sometimes you need to ask. And I've told students before, and I've told teachers, a student has a right to say, why do I need to know this? And if you can't answer this question, if you can't answer that question as an educator, then you better be thinking about it, because you need to be able to answer that question if you're teaching it. So that's just one point of emphasis I want to place there that way. Also looking at a couple other things here. We're going to be sending a newsletter, a brochure that many of you in this district received in the mail already, to our alumni who live outside of the district, just to let them know what's going on at the Bellevue School. It's part of another way of communicating and reaching out to those around us. I do think that's very important. We have a lot of great people who have graduated from this school, from this school district in this area, and would love to have them stop in and visit sometime, and just doing things like that. We do have a facilities committee out there as well, and we are talking about some different things there. If you're ever interested in being on that, our next meeting is Thursday, February 26th at 6:30 at the Middle School High School building in the Commons. Like I said, you're more than welcome to attend there. We've had probably about 35 people there over 2 different meetings, most of them the same, some of them different. And that's just one thing going on that way. We've talked anywhere from strictly a school thing to a community and school coordinated effort that way. The facilities committee will be making a presentation to the board meeting sometime either March or the April board meeting, so you're aware of that way of what's going on. And that's just kind of forward thinking, looking ahead 5 years, 10 years. Where are we going as a district that way with facilities, with buildings? We've talked about the elementary building. We have talked about the music room, the art room. We've talked about the ag room, industrial tech building. We've talked about athletic fields, complexes, moving baseball, softball to Cole Park instead of putting lights up out at the middle school, high school baseball field. We've had a lot of those discussions have happened at different times in board meetings and also at the facilities committee. So there's a lot of discussion going on there, and just a lot of thoughts. And I think that's really important to get other people's thoughts on what is happening, so we can make the best decision and the board can be informed of what the community is thinking. So if you have any thoughts, feel free to call me, stop by, whatever the case is. We'll be more than interested in having those that way. The next board meeting is on Monday, March 9th, and that is at 6:30. We will actually be starting at 5:30. We'll be taking a a tour of the elementary building at 5:30, which anyone wants to do that, you're welcome to do that as well. But that's something that we feel is important as board members to see what are the buildings like that we're talking about. They have an idea of some areas that they've been, but just going through entire buildings that way. So the board is very interested in the community's thoughts, input, whatever you want to call it, but it's very good. So hope everyone has a great week. Remember, there's no school this Friday, February 13th, and no school on Monday, February 16th. So our next day of school after this week will be on Tuesday of next week. That'd be Tuesday, February 17th. That was some days that were planned last year already. The 16th is President's Day, and Friday we're just having off as a day. That way that was planned. So enjoy the longer weekend that way, and if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact the school at any time. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day.